That's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Have you guys ever seen one of those videos that are like on YouTube or like Instagram or TikTok, and they're like super dramatic and kind of over the top, and wonder what it is? So that's a vertical short, and basically it looks something like this. This is one I was in. Wow, that smells good.
Husband is cheating on her with her subordinate? This is huge gossip.
So that was the first ever vertical that I ever did, and since then I've actually done several others. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what a vertical short is, and what's it like being on one, and should you get into one. So anyways, let's get into it. So when you guys think of vertical videos, I'm sure what instantly comes to mind is like Instagram Reels, TikTok videos, YouTube Shorts is what comes to mind. But anyways, a vertical short is basically a short with a plot line that normally lasts anywhere from like 60 seconds all the way to 3 minutes. And then you can find them on like MoboReels, Flex TV, Real Short, DramaBox, like all this list right here, if you guys ever want to get into it. And then he's even a picture of like some of the titles that you can even find on some of these. And so like I said, it's basically a novella meets a soap opera, and then also like live action anime for the fight scenes and everything is the way I like to put it personally. So anyways, that's kind of what I would describe as a vertical short is. So anyways, what's the next part? What's it like being in one? Let's answer that next. So answering the question of what's it like being in one, first, you got to go to a casting website, bada boom. And then you apply for one of the roles. So the roles could vary and also vary on pay. Starting off at the bottom where you kind of have like the background. Background normally starts at anywhere from like $75, $80 and can range all the way up to like $150. Then the next tier are like your day players. Now your day players, like if it's a 7-day, 8-day shoot, you're only there for 1 day and then you're just kind of doing your thing and then you get to dip out. So your day players are normally making anywhere between like, what is it, like 200 to like 250-ish? And then the next tier up is basically your supporting roles. Your supporting roles are normally there mass majority of the days that you're shooting. So if it is like a 7-day shoot, you're gonna be there for mostly 7 days. And then I've seen it range from like, your support range from usually like $400 to like $500 kind of thing. And then the next tier up is like your leads on these. Now your leads actually make pretty good money in my opinion. Like I said, your leads are gonna be there all the days of shooting traditionally, 7 to 9 days. And then basically it's gonna range from like $700, $800, all the way up to even $1,000 from what I've seen. So anyways, those are kind of the roles that you can kind of have and different things. One of the other things I personally like to say is the set size is like being on a vertical is like being on a small town. Everybody knows everybody. You start to develop the friendships and everything. It's a super tight crew. But when you're on like a feature film or even like a TV show, it's almost like a major city. You have hundreds and hundreds of people. There's so many different cast people. There's so many different directors, assistant directors, cinematographers, gaffers, lighters. It's a big, massive project. But then verticals are super simple in a sense that it's like a couple camera guys, a couple lighting people, a couple people do the setup and everything. A lot simpler. So small town versus big town, in my opinion. Next part is kind of the acting styles. Now the acting styles are made to be big expressions, over the top, everything's dramatic, and basically, like I said, it's fast pacing, and then even your fight sequences are very anime. For an example, there's one time I got punched, I had to take a punch to the stomach, and then the camera goes to my punch in the stomach basically, and I have to flex basically like this, like I'm bouncing the guy back basically as a result of him hitting me, and then basically he bounces off kind of thing. So anyways, they're super dramatic and over the top kind of thing, but they're a lot of fun to be in my opinion. And then the funniest part too is that so during the scenes you're gonna see people intense, they're very like angry at each other, like it's over the top basically, like we're very over the top, there's a lot of rivalry, you know, I don't like this person. But then if you guys saw the behind the scenes and basically like what's going on between the main characters that just were basically fighting, is like everyone's laughing after the fact and making jokes with each other and being like best friends essentially. Sorry to ruin it if that ruins the tension between, you know, so and so and so and so, you know, or if this was Twilight Team Edward versus Team Jacob. Anyways, like I said, there's a lot of joking around and having fun off camera basically, but on camera it's all serious business, and the rivalries, the hatred, and the dramatic, the backstabbing, everything goes on. So answering the next question is, should you do one? Would you want to be in a vertical video? Now, one of the reasons why I personally love vertical videos is if you're an aspiring actor basically, and you've never been on set before, it's a perfect opportunity to get used to being on set, being used to being in front of the camera, kind of the dialogue and the different verbiage that goes on set. But also too, it's a good way to get your feet wet. And starting off as a background even, or even as a day player, where a day player actually gets lines, usually not an extent amount of lines, but you get a good amount of lines. And then the good thing too is then that they use really good cameras, and then you get good footage for your reel. So then you can kind of develop an actor reel. And so that was one of the reasons why I think it's great to be on a vertical. And also too, not just that, but you also get to network with usually people. You're not only on verticals usually as an actor. As an actor, you are doing commercials, you're doing other projects, and verticals is just one of the things you just happen to be. So one of the cool things is you do get to develop friendships with all these different people, the production team, the directors, all the different projects. And what's really cool too is it does become like a small town feel, because what ends up happening is you'll work on one per vertical, and then a couple, you know, it could be a week, a month from now, basically, and you'll work on another vertical, and then you'll run into similar actors or similar directors or different lighting people or different crew that you worked with previously. So it's almost like you get to reunite with all these old friends basically, and it's super fun. And also too, it's just good. It's good practice, and you actually will get a crazy amount of views. The very first one, that one I showed you the love on your taste buds, the very first day that episode aired and the show aired, it had over 280,000 views on it. And also too, I was working on a different project where I was actually playing a werewolf, and I was in my human form for this one. And anyways, that particular one of the cast members, she was telling me she was on one, and the show she was on had over 13 million views for the whole entire thing up to this point. And so verticals get a crazy amount of views that you guys probably would not expect and probably didn't even heard of. And so anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully this was a little educational about what is a vertical short. Should you guys be in one? And you know, if not, they're fun to watch, and if you need to kill some time, it's worth it. Anyways, hopefully you guys had a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.